guess, first of all, it seemed like a lot of ankles rolled the other night. Is everybody okay from that?
Well, we'll find out today, but, I think Keaton's okay. Abe, I don't think is going to be available. We're still trying to really determine the extent of his injury. So obviously it hurts just being down, one guy who has been playing. But Keaton's fine, and other than that, I think, we should be okay.
Nick Jackson looked like, he stayed in the game.
He's fine. He's fine. Again, we practice here at 2:15, so, our trainers basically said everybody's fine. We'll just have to see, as tolerated with those two guys.
You got another top 60 type team to play. Like, I know you've said you hope at the end of the schedule that the difficulty of this beginning stretch will help you. Are you getting to that point yet, or is it still kind of the feeling out what it's going to take to play these teams?
Yeah, I think we're going through this for the first time in a much different environment, when you play them both back to back. So I think that makes it obviously more challenging as we're trying to grow and develop. We got to play this team 2 times in a row, whereas usually, you might play them, learn, and then you face them 3 weeks later and you've grown and gotten better, So hard to do that in 2 days and with 1 day in between. So again, I just met with our coaches and been going over a lot of things to sort of help our guys offensively, and we really just have to really concentrate on ourselves. We have to make sure that we're coming up with things to help our guys take care of the ball, do things that are going to help them in that regard, continue to get them to learn, how important that is. And, like you said, we play San Diego State. Obviously, everybody knows they're really good. They're going to be a big challenge, but we have 2 other games later on in the week, and then we'll have 2 games after that. And we got to make sure that we're getting better right now, and I got to make sure that we concentrate on that. And, I feel good about what we're going to be doing. Does that mean it's going to show up immediately? It doesn't, when you do certain things or tweak things, it doesn't mean you see the results immediately. It's almost like a player who, is working to get more time. You know what I mean? You're in practice and they have 1 good practice or 2 good practices. That doesn't mean you're getting more time right away. You know what I mean? You got to do it over and over and over again. And same thing with some of these things that we're trying to do. We got to maintain that sort of philosophy so that next Thursday and Saturday, it is showing up in our favor. The 2 games after that, it is showing up in our favor. And that's what I really have to make sure that I keep concentrating on and don't get hung up on San Diego State. You know what I mean? And don't get hung up on those things. We got to get hung up on what needs to be done to make sure we keep getting better.
And, another team you're playing with size, and especially now that you might not have Abe, who fills the void if there's foul trouble?
How do you fill a void when there's nothing, when there is no void there, or whatever? There's nothing to put in the void. That's a great question. It's a little. There was a famous, it's like Descartes or whatever, or something like that. It's like philosophical. Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's going to be, Nick's got to, like to questions you've asked prior, Nick's got to keep growing up and stay out of foul trouble. So that would be a surefire way to help fill the void. Keaton has to keep improving and playing center. He's got to give us some minutes there. And I think Amika has to keep playing well. He's been playing better because then, he gets to stay in there a little bit longer. That helps fill the void. And, like I just said, we're practicing, and guys have to show in practice that they are getting better at what's important to us. And obviously CJ Hout has some size. I got to see in practice that he really knows, offensively, defensively, what we're doing, so that if he is in there, it's being done for positive reasons, So, and with Abe, I don't know how long this is going to be. So this is something that, some people say next man up. In some cases, I don't know if it's next man up. It's another man in another position. You know what I mean? You got to turn things in a different way, and guys have to step into different roles. And we're going to see how that goes. And obviously, again, it's not just possibly for San Diego State. It's for the following Thursday and Saturday and so on.
Okay. And really late starts with this one, 9 and 8. Like, does that, does that impact an academy team because of the schedules these guys keep?
We had that same thing when we went to Boise in the first game. We played a 9 o'clock game. It does elongate the day, obviously. We do have school Friday. Sunday's not. Sometimes if you don't have school, that makes for a longer day on Sunday when the game's at 8 o'clock. At least on Friday they'll be up and they'll be busy and they're doing stuff and they're engaged. So, again, it's just another thing I think with this year. You just have to make sure you keep focused on what I said earlier. We're playing. Our guys are playing. We're practicing today. We got to keep being healthy so that we can keep doing that. And who cares what time the game is? You know what I mean? They're going to be throwing a ball up. We're playing basketball. And, one thing I stressed, Brent, after the last game was, we got to get more competitive here. We got to get more competitive nature, a fire in our belly. You know what I mean? Like as individuals, it's what's required in this game. You got to be like an ultimate competitor. And when you are, they say throw it up at 9, you're ready to go. They say we're playing at 6 in the morning, you're ready to go. That's what competitors are, and we got to get better at that. We got to develop that. We got to recruit to that. We got to develop this program to that, and that's what this is about. And in some respects, this year with this way this is, that's about what it comes down to. You know what I mean? We got San Diego State. I think Saturday, Monday, Friday, Sunday at these times at night that, why are we playing that way? Oh, I know it's TV. Then you go Thursday, Saturday. When we get to the end of the schedule, I just saw the other day, we're going like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, to finish the last 4. It's like, okay, what I know is you got to be a competitor. And I'm going to keep stressing that. And like I said, we got to coach to that. We got to build to that. And we got to recruit to that, and because that's what's required to really grow and get better. That's why competitiveness is so important. Because when you're a competitor, when you compete like you can't believe, that's the engine of growth. Competitiveness is the engine of growth, and that's going to be our sort of mantra from here on out. And who enjoys it, who comes forward to it. Like who embraces it. That's what we got to have, and that's how we're going to approach it. And I know that's what we got to be doing on Friday night when they throw the ball up.
Are there similarities to San Diego State now to what you saw the first time around, just because it's, sort of the same staff or philosophies?
There's definitely similarity to, what you're saying with staff, style of play. Major thing that's different, though, is identity. When I first got here, the 2 worst teams in the league were San Diego State and Air Force. Cellar dwellers. 4 years later, they were the 2 best teams in the league. Or, 4 to 6 years later, they were the 2 best teams in the league. And obviously what's different is their identity is just grown and grown and grown. And they know who they are. Everybody in the country knows who they are. And that's a credit to, obviously Coach Fisher and Dutch. And they're just a really, really good program, and they know it. And I'd say that's what the major difference is from that first time, as they were just developing that, back then.
And last thing, there's a strong correlation between your best games results-wise and Chris Joyce scoring. When he's had big scoring games, you guys have played well or won. Is that just, coincidence, or do you feel like he has to have that scoring role in order for you to have success?
I mean, I think it's easy to point to it's easy to look at the points, but I would say him playing well. And I would say it's just as much Keaton Van Solen too. I mean, when those 2 guys, if you look at our team, if those 2 guys don't quote unquote play well, it's going to be really hard for us, and that's probably true of any team that starts 2 seniors who have a major impact and role on the team. If those 2 seniors don't play well, it's probably going to be hard for that team to play well that night. So I really think that's what it comes down to, and you know, it might be Chris a little bit more, but if Keaton's playing well, it probably helps Chris play well. And there's just no question that we as a group need those two guys to play well. In Chris's case, if he does, you know, you usually see the correlation of him scoring some points. You know, when he's quote unquote not playing well, what's following is the ball's not going in the basket. He's not scoring points, and he's got to learn. You know, the other teams know this, and they're out to stop Chris Joyce, and that's where it becomes a team thing. You know what I mean? The team has to help Chris play well. Chris has to help the team play well. Most importantly, Chris has to continue to learn through this large amount of experience what he has to do to make himself play well. And he knows that when he does play well, the team does well. You know, so that's all part of this. And I don't know, we're whatever our record is. I mean, you know, he's 11 games, 12 games into a much heavier role, you know, a much more relied upon role, and he's done a good job with it. But there's been a little bit of the, you know, up and down with it, and we just got to see if, as we go through these last, you know, say 14 games or whatever it is, that we see an uptick in sort of that consistency, because if we do, then we'll be doing better as a group because Chris is playing, you know, well on a more consistent basis.